Coming up on Chapman News, Chapman students need a new student body president, and the news came suddenly. We've got the latest.
Plus, heavy hearts on campus this week with the loss of economics professor SeaWorld DB. He dies at the age of 63. We look back on his life, and President Dodi joins us live in studio.
And we may have had those April showers last week, but they're long gone. I have more on the weather coming up on Chapman News.
Welcome to Chapman News. I'm Fiona Zaring.
And I'm Nick Vieira. We start this week here in Orange. Further steps were taken with the noise ordinance that has caused great conflict between Chapman students and Orange residents. Simone Buteau has the story.
Before we take action on that, of course, we'll hear from the community.
The fight continued Tuesday at the Orange City Council meeting between Orange residents and Chapman University students. The stiffened noise ordinance showed up on the agenda with some slight revisions for its first reading, but council members did not hesitate to again pass it unanimously. The revisions instigated a four-part amendment to the bill, the first one making it a violation to attend a loud or unruly gathering. It also extends the second response violation period from 10 days until the end of the school year. Private residents affected by such gatherings are now able to sue and get reimbursed for legal fees. And the last revision makes it so that students can self-report incidents, but will only be held unaccountable if that call comes in before any other complaints. Both sides were well represented during the reading, and both appealing to the council.
I have had boys urinate in my potted plants to the point where I finally just got rid of them. They throw up in their yard, they throw up in my yard, their beer cans are in their yard, they're in my yard. They wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's not just the bad kids, it's this, and I'm a part-time college professor. I love these kids, okay? But I don't love them interfering with the family life that we have.
We are your neighbors, we are not your enemies. And I think that this could be the standard for the entirety of the city. But instead of domineering these students, it needs to come from a place of understanding and of communication. Thank you for your time.
The bill must go through 2 more readings in order to pass, but by looking at the attitudes of Orange residents and city council members, it looks like Chapman students should learn these laws and know their rights for the upcoming school year. Reporting from City of Orange, I'm Simone Buteau, Chapman News.
With 2 more readings ahead, the ordinance is scheduled to pass around June of this year.
And now for our weekly update on the race for the White House. Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton debated in Brooklyn Thursday night. Clinton led in New York by 10 points. Republican Donald Trump leads by a wide margin over John Kasich and Ted Cruz.
A non-candidate made the biggest news this week. Popular House Speaker Paul Ryan made it clear that GOP party bosses should not try to draft him at the convention. Ryan has no interest in the Oval Office. In other news, Donald Trump's kids can't vote for dad. They didn't register in time.
Chapman had its own political scandal earlier this week. Reporter Zach Shucklin has the story.
The Chapman community was rocked this week when President-elect Austin Kernan resigned from SGA.
Basically, he sent in a resignation letter to me and the rest of the exec council, citing personal reasons for resigning. That is all I officially have.
Kernan, who was also the Speaker of the Senate, stepped down amid allegations he stole thousands of dollars from his fraternity. And his move left the student government stuck on what to do next.
Nobody with the position of president-elect has stepped down or resigned in this manner.
Its constitution had a resignation clause, but not for the president-elect. So now the Elections Committee is left with 2 options. Either let Kernan's running mate Tyler Porterfield assume the position, or give it to Annabelle Liao, who had the second highest amount of votes.
Right now we're working out which one follows the bylaws and the Constitution and the election code processes the best.
Chapman News reached out to the Delta Tau Delta fraternity about the allegations. They declined to comment, but did post a press release. In it, they detail how Kernan used the chapter account for personal expenses. He paid back the money with interest and was asked to leave the fraternity. So with Delts down a member and the Senate down a future leader, SGA is scrambling to pick Kernan's successor.
It's kind of up to the elections committee. They've met twice now to discuss it, and then it will be going to Porter Hom, who's our director of justice, and then we'll release a statement when we know.
Thank you, Kelsey. This has been Zach Shucklin for Chapman News.
SGA hopes to make an announcement on the new president by early next week. Chapman President Jim Dodi often says of our university that we all stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us.
We lost one of those giants this weekend, professor, economist, and distinguished gentleman, Dr. Ishmael DB. Our professor, Pete Weitzner, tells us about his friend.
SeaWorld loved to play the big stage. Why not? He did it so well.
He had that talent of explaining the most complex problem in economics to a lay person who knows absolutely nothing about it, and he will come out understanding the basics of that issue without making that person feel stupid or ignorant about it. And that was, very few can do that.
Now, what kind of a recovery is this? Anemic.
DB started his nearly 40-year run co-presenting Chapman's economic forecast as Jim Dodi's student. As its chief architect, DB used his own economics students. Many people on this campus feel the loss of SeaWorld very personally, myself included. We shot a show together, the Chapman Business Report, for 15 years. He was my chief commentator, co-host, over 300 episodes, and many of them shot in front of this Global Citizens Plaza. I would show up, always late, and SE would be standing here with a smile. And when I left 2 hours later, I always felt better than when I had arrived.
Was always fast with a joke. He taught me how to lighten up a little bit in the office.
He had a wonderful spirit. He made people smile no matter what the situation was. He was never seen as angry or upset or having a bad day.
You can make the case that SeaWorld is one of the most important people in the more than 150 years of Chapman University.
He's been flying all over the country and in some cases the world, delivering the forecast, and just because of the quality of the work that he did, it made him such a national figure.
SeaWorld is survived by his wife Gila, his daughter Roxanne, his son Kia, and his much wider family that stretched from the campus of Chapman University, really around the world. So many of us will miss this great gentleman. Pete Weitzner, Chapman News.
Joining us now in the studio of Chapman University President and longtime friend of SeaWorld, Jim Dodi. Thank you again for coming in. Our condolences are, of course, with you. We do also share the pain for Professor Pete Weitzner. He has a very great relationship with SE. And this must be a really tough week for you guys.
Yeah, Pete, Essie, and I, we were the three amigos.
So what greater evidence to show how popular SE was? The memorial on Saturday is now being held at the Musco Center.
Yeah, we were originally thinking of having it at the Wallace Chapel and at the Fish Interfaith Center, and that would accommodate 350 people. But as word is spread, we now believe there will be many, many more people. So we had to change facilities and accommodate perhaps 1,000 people who will be here tomorrow.
That's always great. Did you know when he was your student right away that SeaWorld was going to be the incredible economics genius that he ended up being? Did you know that he was going to be the SeaWorld?
No way.
No?
He was the biggest pain in the neck. He would be one of those students that when you grade his exam, he'll come back and argue every point. And why'd you take 2 points off of this, 5 points off of that? So when the class was over, I was happy to get rid of him. But he came back.
Mm-hmm.
He came back because he was a gifted researcher and incredible intellect and unusual for economists, a great sense of humor. So he was a great public spokesperson. So I'd have him present several of the conferences, and he got to be so popular that he had to be a regular, and we became a real team.
So in a few months, you're going to do your forecast revision. What is it going to be like without having Essie?
Oh, God, I don't know. It's going to be really tough. That promo piece or the piece that you did and that Pete just did with Ramon's Sphere, I was so impressed with that. I'm hoping that we can perhaps begin the forecast with that, if I can borrow it from Pete. I'll try to twist his arm. But it's going to be tough because he's so popular and he's not going to be there. And the first thing that Essie would want is for the show to go on and for us to keep his legacy alive by continuing the forecast. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that that happens.
When you think of Essie, is there one memory in particular that just sticks in your head of like, this was the essence, this is what Essie was, this is what Mr. DB was all about?
Yeah, I think so. I'll never forget we were sitting playing backgammon once, and we were in an intense part of the game, and we were very competitive. We were so competitive in backgammon that we kept the score, and the first who would reach 1,000 points would get their name on a plaque. So, I mean, this was a big deal to us. And a homeless person came up to us. This was at lunch in a local restaurant somewhere, and a homeless person, and to me it was distracting. But I saw Essie, and because it really reveals his quality as an individual and his character. And he stopped. He said, "Sit down, let's talk." And we just had a great talk with this person. But his respect for other people, I think that story personifies what he was all about. I've received literally hundreds of emails, letters since his passing. And almost everyone touches upon the special part of his character, that he was a friendly person, had a great sense of humor. Some say, he's a great teacher, incredible teacher, gifted teacher, great forecaster, great sense of humor. But it seems like the thing that really resonates with most people is his quality to reach out to them and make them feel special.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
It's always great to have you in the studio here, President. And
Thank
I wish it was on better circumstances.
Thank you. Well, maybe next time there will. Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll be right back.
Follow your dreams. Chapman University. Take your life to new heights. Chapman University. Invest your humanity. Lead. Follow your dreams. Chapman University. History, philosophy, peace studies, languages. Study abroad and explore the world. Become a global citizen. The Wilkinson College at Chapman University. Invest your humanity. Lead.
I don't know if you've seen a lot of the Facebook uproar, though, lately, Fiona, over the SGA passing a law to ban smoking on Chapman campus, but there's a lot of people upset.
I have seen that. People have been fairly angry online. Now, smokers, you might have a little bit more to be upset about. A new bill may be clearing up some smoke in our California air and make smoking in any of California's state parks illegal, even in our local beaches.
Ellie Newby is live in Orange right now to give us more info. Ellie, what's going on?
Thanks, guys. So as of February 1st, Chapman became an entirely smoke-free campus, and now it looks like our state parks will be too. This Tuesday, a bill was passed that, if approved, will make smoking in any of California's state parks illegal, including all of our beloved beaches. The Senate Committee on Natural Resources and Water passed the bill by a 7-2 vote, and now it goes to the Senate Appropriations Committee for discussion. The ban would include all of the California state park system, which about 67 million people visit each year. The committee members think smoking not only affects public health, but may also impact tourism. And I know when my family has a beach day, we want that beach to be clean. This is not the first time this issue has gone before the state decision makers, but the committee voted no to a similar bill in 2010. The debate is often about the issue of secondhand smoke and the annoyance of smoking in public versus the government's interference in personal rights. In the recent policy change at Chapman, smoking is now prohibited in all forms, including e-cigarettes, pipes, cigars, and hookahs on any campus property. California officials are currently deliberating on the decision, and when we find out new information, we'll keep you updated to see whether California's government agrees with Chapman's student government. Reporting live from campus, I'm Ellie Newby, Chapman News.
Thanks, Ellie. I mean, this has been a conversation for generations now about whether or not smoking is a drug or not, and it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to, if this is going to be a generation right now that's coming up and coming, being born and raised, if that's going to be the last generation that has to deal with secondhand smoke and smoke in general.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide on that bill. Definitely keep you guys updated. The company that once helped the world fall in love with orcas has been under fire for keeping creatures in captivity. SeaWorld has conceded to critics in a recent decision to no longer breed their orca whales in captivity. Michelle Human visited SeaWorld to learn more about this decision.
Shamu will see his last big splash at SeaWorld in 2017. For the entertainment company has received a whale of bad publicity since the documentary Blackfish was released in 2013. SeaWorld has now decided to change its policies. On March 17th, the CEO of SeaWorld informed the public of 3 big changes to be implemented at parks in San Diego, Orlando, and San Antonio. First, SeaWorld will no longer breed orca whales in captivity. Its current generation of 29 orcas will be its last. Second, for the whales that have already found their home at SeaWorld, theatrical shows will start to phase out and a new natural encounter with the whales will take their place. Lastly, SeaWorld has partnered with the Humane Society of the United States to better preserve and protect the oceans, and in hopes of creating a more humane environment for animals everywhere.
They had already stopped wild captures decades ago. So this is essentially going to sunset the use of orcas, which have been central to the brand image of SeaWorld.
While animal welfare activists have rejoiced over SeaWorld's decision, some scientists have expressed concern that the end of the orca breeding program means the loss of the opportunity to learn about the orcas and conduct research that could potentially save the whales in the wild.
If you'd like to learn more about the future of the orca whales here at SeaWorld, you can visit SeaWorldCares.com/truth. Reporting from San Diego, I'm Michelle Human, Chapman News.
The last generation of orcas will remain in captivity at SeaWorld parks for the remainder of their lives. SeaWorld has committed $50 million to protect and preserve these animals over the next 5 years.
America has its very own Hamburglar, and it's not at McDonald's. Police in Washington are looking for the suspect who broke into a Five Guys, but rather than stealing cash, this thief made himself a hamburger and left. According to the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, the suspect followed a delivery man into the shop and waited until the employee left. He then cooked himself a burger and left the establishment. In an effort to catch the burger burglar, police released a video of the crime which has since gone viral nationwide. No arrests have been made so far, and the search continues for the Hamburglar.
It's out with the old and in with the new at one popular burger chain. Johnny Rockets is abandoning the jukeboxes, uniforms, and 1950s-style diner restaurants and will instead focus on a more contemporary look. The new restaurants will have wooden finishes, modern lighting, and a self-service ordering kiosk for to-go orders. The Aliso Vieso headquartered chain is hoping to expand 70 new locations in the next year, with a few even having drive-thrus.
Break out those flower crowns and rompers because Coachella 2016 is here. Weekend one of Coachella has arrived with headliners LCD Sound System, Guns N' Roses, and Calvin Harris on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, respectively. Tickets sold out in minutes when they were first released, and it is expected to be one of the biggest outdoor music festivals of the entire year. Remember to stay safe and drink plenty of water, as temperatures are expected to reach the low 90s on Saturday and Sunday. The Riverside Police Department has also released multiple statements saying they will crack down hard this year on drug and alcohol consumption due to prior incidents. The event runs this weekend, followed by weekend 2 next week.
The NFL released their 2016 schedule last night, and while the LA Rams are temporarily playing at the LA Coliseum, the plan for their new stadium in Inglewood will be nothing short of a spectacle. Reporter Justin Gillerman has more.
98-acre site, which will be the new home for our Los Angeles Rams.
Football is back in Southern California, and thanks to the great mind of Gerard McCallum, the project that places the Rams in Inglewood looks to create something never seen before. At the Orange County Forum, McCallum, the head of the Hollywood Park project, took to the floor to expand on his plans for the area and what people of Southern California can expect out of the new land.
Next 7 to 8 years, you're going to see a very robust development on the former racetrack site, Hollywood Park. That includes an 80,000-seat NFL specification stadium that can house 2 teams, along with a 6,000-seat performance art venue.
Before the Rams made the move, there was talk about the Chargers coming to LA, the Raiders coming to LA. But at the end of the day, only one franchise made sense.
Well, I think the Rams definitely will be successful. I think it was the normal choice. It was the automatic choice. Since we own the property, the Rams organization owned the property, and they wanted to develop it. The owner's a developer. The owner wanted to see the team come back to Southern California. A lot of the roots, as I said, 50 years being here, I think the Rams make the most sense.
For McCallum, he expects his 298 acres of land to be more than just an NFL stadium, and possibly a bigger investment for the NFL corporation.
It's going to be one of their signature campuses that really exposes the NFL to an audience that they've been kind of absent for quite some time.
The forum was held in front of sponsors and stakeholders that were in attendance, with a Q&A session that concluded the event. Reporting from Orange County, California, I'm Justin Gillerman, Chapman News.
The Rams are slated to enter their new stadium during the 2019 season, while the surrounding projects should be finished up by 2020.
I don't know if you noticed this week, Fiona, but it was hotter than usual. I'm really hoping it continues into the weekend so I can finally show off my beach body to the world.
That is interesting, Nick. We will send it over to Nicole in the Weather Center to find out if we can make that happen for you. Nicole, what's the weather?
Thanks so much, Fiona. It is a beautiful day in the city of Orange. The sun is shining and happy to see you. So take this Friday to go outside, hang out with some friends, maybe go on a hike, or have a picnic. It is just a great day. We're gonna look at some of the temperatures in Orange County. It's about 70 degrees right now in Westminster. A little bit colder down in Newport Beach, 68 degrees. You'll notice that if you travel inland, it gets a little bit warmer, but a little bit chillier on the coast. So if you're planning on going to the beach, maybe think about packing an extra layer. Now we're going to zoom out here and look a little bit more at cities in Orange County. Ooh, it's hot in Santa Barbara. It's 80 degrees currently, but it's cold in Big Bear, 45 degrees. But hey, I guess if you're a big bear, you have a lot of fur to keep you warm. So that's good. But if you're not a bear like me, just go a little bit south to Palm Springs where it is a little warmer at 79 degrees. We're going to take a look at our 5-day outlook. Sunshine and clear skies through this weekend and the beginning of next week. It's going to be in the high 80s, so make sure you have your sunscreen and your water at hand. Chewbacca most likely will be hanging out in Big Bear because, hey, who needs sunshine when you've got hair like that? And finally, Coachella. For those of you that are headed to the concert this weekend, don't forget you're going to the desert. It's going to be hot. It's going to be in about the high 80s, so make sure you have your sunscreen on and pack lots of water to stay hydrated. But most importantly, enjoy the event, have fun, and stay safe. There is lots more for the weather, but we're going to toss it over to the Sports Center to see what's going on with Wolfie. Wolfie?
Thank you, Nicole. We'll take you from the hardwood that got all the attention to the fairway that seemed all too quiet. Keep it here because the best campus sports show is coming up next.
1 in 13,200,000. Odds of being struck by lightning, 1 in 576,000. Odds of dating a supermodel, 1 in 88,000. Odds of bowling a perfect game, 1 in 11,500. Odds of being trapped in an elevator, 1 in 24,528. Odds of catching a ball at a major league game, 1 in 563. Odds of an injury from shaving, 1 in 6,585. Odds of tripping while texting, 1 in 10. Odds of getting cancer in your lifetime, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women.
It's up to us.
To change the odds for our generation.
For the ones we love.
For our future.
If you don't like the odds,
Stand up. Stand up to cancer.
Emergencies and disasters happen with little or no warning and often occur while you are away from home. Be ready for emergencies by registering your alternate phone numbers, cell phones, and email addresses at alertoc.com. You will receive alerts when an emergency occurs near your workplace or neighborhood.
Hello everybody, I am Wolfie Tash and you are watching the best campus sports show. We begin with the storybook ending that drew worldwide attention. Kobe Bryant turned in his final masterpiece Wednesday as the Lakers hosted the Jazz in the final game of the season for both teams. Let's look back at the highlights. Kobe receives a standing ovation in his final introduction at Staples Center. But let's take you right to the fourth quarter. We see Kobe driving and hitting this layup, bringing the Lakers to within 6. Then Kobe again, splitting 2 defenders and hitting the jumper, bringing the Lakers to within 4. Kobe with the ball again as he drives up, takes the ball to the corner, and then Kobe for 3, hits the jumper, bringing the Lakers to within 1. Then with 30 seconds left, Kobe with ball in hand, doing what Kobe does best, taking the ball, driving, and hitting the jump shot, putting the Lakers up 1, and the Lakers would hold on to win the game 101 to 96. Kobe Bryant got a standing ovation from the crowd and was sent off with 60 points, a new high for a player retiring, and he went off in style the way Kobe would. Our reporter Adam Mann was on campus this week to get reaction from fans who grew up in the Kobe era.
And I got student reaction on his retirement. One word to describe Kobe Bryant.
Iconic.
Savage.
Legend.
Iconic. So he played his final game last night, 60 points, game-winning shot. What's your reaction?
I thought it was a great game. You know, obviously Kobe's going to go out on top. One of the best there ever is, so of course he's going to have a memorable game.
Those are top performances. I think it's good that he ended on a great note like that. I mean, he had a fabulous career, so it's good that he got sent out in a great way, you know, the Kobe way.
Watching him growing up, he's really influential, and that's like what I've based all my sports careers off of, so it's pretty cool to watch him finish like that, and it shows a lot of heart.
That last shot with 35 seconds left, only Kobe would make that in his final game.
So now that he's retired, what do you want to see him do now?
I mean, like, I definitely still want to see him around ESPN. Maybe coaching.
I would love to see him be an announcer. I think some of the announcers they're a little too PG, and I think Kobe would bring some fire to the broadcast.
It was his time to go, but it sucks now because he's my favorite player.
Kobe Bryant will surely be missed. 60 points for his final game. He's leaving the game a legend. For Chapman News, Adam Mann.
Thanks, Adam. Kobe Bryant was certainly one of the greatest players I ever had the privilege of watching when I was growing up. Each week, Chapman University selects an athlete who went above and beyond for their team. I got a chance to catch up with our Athlete of the Week this week and see how he's getting into the swing of things. Freshman golfer Griffin Tsao has been named Chapman University's Athlete of the Week. Griffin led the men's golf team to a 5th-place finish at the SCIAC No. 2 tournament this past weekend at the Anaheim Hills Golf Course. Tsao also became the first Panther ever to finish first in a SCIAC golf event. Griffin set the tone early for the Panthers by shooting a 74+4 on the first day of competition, but it was his second day score of 67 3-under that caught the eyes of everyone, catapulting Tsao to the top of the leaderboard with a final individual score of 141 1-over.
My aunt and uncle actually are golfers as well, and they belong to a club out in San Diego where I'm from, and they took me out for a charity event, and after that charity event I just loved it. And so slowly I kind of played more golf and less soccer. And then before I knew it, I was just full-time golf.
Griffin is one of only 3 Panthers to have golfed in every matchup this season and has posted an average score of 79.4 per round, good for third best on his team. While Sal is one of the Panthers' most consistent golfers, he sets the standards much higher for himself.
Practicing and playing and competing with the guys on the team, especially our captain, Brian Wise, he's really pushed me to become a better player. And I think competing with him and playing with him, because he is such a good golfer, has pushed me to become better and I think work harder at the game.
For Griffin, golf is more than just a game. It's an opportunity to connect with his family and bond over a mutual love for the game.
I think having the ability to play with my dad and bond with him at home and, probably for the rest of our lives has always kept me wanting to, keep playing and have fun with him, even if I'm not playing at Chapman.
Reporting from Tustin, California, I'm Wolfie Tash, Chapman News. Griffin and the Panthers will have 1 week to practice and prepare before they begin the SCIAC Championships on April 23rd. This past Tuesday, the Dodgers unveiled their new street address, 1000 Vin Scully Avenue. This section of Elysian Park Avenue leading up to Dodger Stadium has been renamed to honor the team's Hall of Fame broadcaster in his final season. Scully is currently in his 67th season with the team and is widely considered one of the greatest broadcasters in sports history. Scully said he would miss the roar of the crowd the most when he addressed the hundreds of fans who attended the ceremony.
Hi, everybody, and a very passionate afternoon to you. I had to get that out because, in all honesty, if you asked me this very minute, how do you feel about what's going on, I would honestly say to you, overwhelmed. I really am.
When Scully took over as the Brooklyn Dodgers' primary play-by-play man in 1953, Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese were both on the roster. And today, Scully will call his final Dodger game on Jackie Robinson Day. That's all I've got for you in sports, but before I leave you, we've got one last thing. The Rams did acquire the #1 overall pick this weekend from the Titans, showing that they are certainly all in this year for their LA team. But that wasn't the only blockbuster deal going on in Southern California. Cam, what do we have in entertainment this week?
Thanks, Wolfie. Well, the Force has awakened in Disneyland as Star Wars Land finally has breaking ground. All of that and more coming up on entertainment here at Chapman News.
Stand up for what's right. Chapman University. Passion, perseverance, teamwork, integrity. Create value in the world. The School of Law at Chapman University. Lead.
Chapman students that have been looking forward to events in the Musco Center, we have 2 major ones coming up.
Entertainment reporter and my good friend Cameron Backstrom has a 411 on what's going on in entertainment. How's it going, Cameron?
Well, the Merchant of Venice is coming to the Musco Center, and it's gonna be a great time. And I think that this is a true taste of Italy and true classical theater with this weekend and the premiere of William Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. So though open to the public, the show will feature some of Chapman's own, with Chapman Theater professor Michael Nearing playing a lead role and professor and Shakespeare scholar Thomas Braddock as director. This will be a particularly special spring production for the theater department as this year marks the 400th anniversary of Shakespeare's death. The show will open tonight at 7:30 following a matinee and evening shows in the coming weeks. Tickets can be purchased at the door or online and can range from $10 to $25. Now, last semester, the UPB brought the Chainsmokers to Chapman for our fall concert, but this week they announced our spring performer will be Mickey Echo. Echo is an alternative. So opening for the show for Echo is he's a main hit on Rihanna's Stay, and the concert is being held on April 13th in the brand new Musco Center for the Performing Arts, and tickets are expected to be sold out pretty well, and it's traditionally smaller than the fall, but the UPB is expecting to sell out tickets fast. Okay, so The Empire is invading the northern backlot of Disneyland, though it will take a few weeks. The Star Wars Land is officially open, and Disneyland has announced it has officially broken ground on the project. Now, on Thursday, Disney Parks blog posted a 360-degree view of the site with stormtroopers guarding a barren landscape and freighters carrying cargo overhead. There's even an all-terrain transport AT-AT, which is made in Star Wars. Now, Disney promises the new land will be an immersive experience featuring authentic locales where visitors can feel like they've been transported to a different planet. And the box office results from this past weekend came in, and it was a great battle between The Dark Knight and a money-hungry Melissa McCarthy. Universal's The Boss took on Warner Brothers' giant tentpole Batman vs. Superman, and The Boss narrowed out the blockbuster by a mere $200,000. This is the third movie McCarthy has opened up with that is #1 in ticket sales. And Batman vs. Superman is in its 4th week, but its longevity is running out, with Hollywood insiders projecting the film to end with roughly $850 million. Now, reports are saying, however, that a rated R edition of the film will be released within the next few months to boost more ticket sales. The big surprise, though, was the first-person shooter movie Hardcore Henry. What started as a YouTube hit turned out to be a fan sensation as it opened up to $5 million and looks like a box office hit for the next few weeks. And fans are already hoping for a sequel. And looking ahead to this weekend, Disney's The Jungle Book hits theaters, which is about an orphan boy lost in the wild. The all-star cast includes Idris Elba, Bill Murray, and Scarlett Johansson. The film is projected to hit around $75 million, and Disney has already greenlit a sequel. And that's all I have here in the entertainment. Back to you guys at the desk.
Log on to our website, chapmannews.tv, to see all of our episodes, Chapman Newsies bios, and the top headlines.
And make sure you also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ChapmanNews, Twitter and Instagram at Chapman News, and YouTube at youtube.com/Chapman News. That's it for us today. I'm Nick Vieira.
I'm Fiona Zaring. Have a great weekend, Panthers.